Robots. It is a robot game for those who enjoy spoken words and emotions. That's enough of that voice. That is truly enough of that voice for now. Let's post this on Facebook. Post it on Twitter. I need more humans to observe. Let's see what my buddies are saying. That's the live dashboard. And I'm going to play some cool music. We're going to be listening to Space Trip, which is a chill wave, synthwave retro mix by Asphenic. And it is fantastic. I love it. Okay, let's see what we are. Today's story. So we have some choices. Where are you? Are you in the court of ancient? Let me check the menu. Let me make the text bigger or smaller. We need the text bigger. We need the text bigger. We need the text bigger. Still, is that okay? We can make it bigger again. And once more into the, yes, nice and big. And where should I go? Very professional today. Shrink myself there. There we go. I think that's good enough. Okay. Let's go back to the game. Where are you, human? I'm the human. Are you in the court of the Egyptian god Anubis, answering for my sins? That doesn't sound very appealing. I've probably got a fair few sins. I don't really want to answer to, or do I? I haven't done anything wrong. Nah, Anubis, you noob. I'm not answering to you. Am I on a war-torn battlefield with a robotic Statue of Liberty? That sounds pretty cool. Gonna go for that so far. Sounds like quite a good option. Don't really like being on the battlefield. I don't like conflict, but sometimes you gotta have some conflict. Or am I on a cliff in Ireland watching the sunset with a robot companion? Ooh. I went on holiday to Ireland to see all the places in my favourite book, Ulysses. I figure that reading this game is the closest thing that I've gotten to reading Ulysses on stream, which is going to happen one day. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, dear viewer or listener, if there are any. Let's see. Or am I in the court? Am I on a utopian beach ruled by a godlike cloud of robots? So this cloud of robots, is that like literally the cloud, or is it a physical cloud? Hold on a second. Let me just check something. I'm just gonna check if I am actually streaming. I believe so. I am streaming. Good. Excellent. And finally, let's see if we're a cliff in Ireland, or a war-torn battlefield for a robotic Statue of Liberty. I'm gonna go for the cliff in Ireland. That sounds nice. Sounds very human. Okay, sitting on a seaside cliff in Ireland, watching the sunset, is the robotic companion you always wanted. He proposed to me at this very spot. Whoa, this is getting heavy. I've just met you, robotic companion. She proposed to me at this very spot. So, is it supposed to be my husband or wife? Whoa, he and I travel the world together, exploring. She and I travel the world together, exploring. Let's see, do I want to go down the romance route this early in the game? Or do I want to be exploring? I think I'm gonna have the robot. She and I travel the world together exploring. We've been having some good times exploring. Yes, you two are the best of friends. Plus empathy, plus autonomy. Whoa. She is clothed in a loose-fitting red tunic, and she shoots you a puckish, friendly look. You sit down beside her to watch the sunset together. I hope I didn't keep you. What am I doing a weird voice? I hope I didn't keep you waiting, you say. Actually, I'm still waiting, she says with a slight smile, for you to build me. I can do that? You say. She looks sad for a moment. Yes, but it will take a lot out of you. She puts her hand on yours. But I promise, if you give your humanity to me, then I'll give it back one day. What the... What does this mean? I don't understand, you say. Just remember that no great thing happens without sacrifice, she says. And I'm sorry. So, does she want to steal my body? That's not something that someone that's the best of friends would do. I wouldn't let my friend steal my body. Let's see what happens next. Some things are in our control and others are not. Epictetus. I can't pronounce Roman names. That is actually in my control, that thing. But I can't pronounce the name, so maybe it's not. Chapter 1, Assembly. This sounds like it's getting off to a weird start, and I like that. Oh, wait, okay. You awaken with your head on a desktop keyboard. Your 3D drafting program is still open. Is that drafting like in Magic the Gathering, where you pass cards to each other? I can only dream. The schematic zoomed in to the recess where your smartphone will snap into its back to act as its brain. What's it? Oh. You recall fiddling with that part endlessly last night until finally your vision began to fade. There was a roaring in your ears and you realized you had been working far, far too long. You must have passed out. It's the fall of 2019. You're a 24-year-old graduate student in the PhD program in computer science at Stanford, and you're a... Well, I guess I'm a guy. I'll pretend it's me playing this game. Although I am not 24, I am 28, and I do not have a PhD. But these are just details. These are merely details. Let's go to the next part. I'm a guy. I'm a man. And your name is Alan, Isaac, Linus, Decker, Darwin. Here, I'll type. I'm going to type it. I'm going to be the character. It's your first name. Robert. Yes. Robert. I'm not using the name No Limits because that's my soul name. Robert, is that right? Yes. And your last name is Tesla. Calvin. Tezuka. Oh, I like that. Goldberg. Quain. The exclamation marks are clicked. So that's like Quain. Is that Gwen? Kim Donayak? Nah, I'll type it. I'll type my name. Rustant, as in No Limits Rustant. I am sure. You look around your apartment. What does it look like? My BattleBots trophy is perched on a widescreen TV equipped with the latest video game consoles. I think instead of reading them all out, I'm just going to select one and then read them out because I think that will be far better for my audience. Oh, I've got some people watching. Hello! Feel free to say hello in the chat. The chat doesn't show up for some reason, but it is there. Okay, so let's see. BattleBots trophy. BattleBots sounds cool. Games consoles. Neatly labelled plastic shovel. I mean, look at this. Is this the kind of room that has been neatly labelled? I don't think so. I do not think so. Oh, I dropped the cup. Definitely not neatly labelled. And busts of famous philosophers. Oh, I've got Yang Wenli and Reinhard von Lohengram. They're the most famous philosophers I know. And my shelves display all of the strange little robotic creatures I've made over the years. So, I guess I'm a writer. And if I were well, it's a hobby. If I were a robot guy, I'd definitely be all about displaying my robots. So let's do that. You've always been fascinated with the idea of creating artificial life. You've got at least 20 such creations on your shelf. They're construction materials, a timeline of your life. I really like that idea. Hey, that sounds like something I would do if I was into robots. The earliest is made of toothpicks and glue. The latest, a spider robot you made out of your old smartphone when your plan gave you a new one. Ha! I wouldn't have a smartphone plan. No thank you. Your creations often confuse people who don't get that robots don't have to be for anything. When people pick up your three-legged wall-climbing robot that sings when it detects encrypted wireless packets, they ask, what the heck is that for? And you reply, what's anything for? What are you for? Okay, maybe you don't say that, but you sometimes think about it. Plus autonomy. So I've got the autonomy here for my character. Let's check my stats. What are my stats saying so far? So I have 90% humanity. Nice. And my robot. Oh, I see. So this is building my robot. Okay. So it's got 3 autonomy, 1 military, 3 empathy, 1 grace. So this is my robot buddy. Wealth 0, broke. Yep, definitely. Fame 0. Yep. As my viewer figures could attest. And romance none. Yeah, sounds pretty accurate. And my robot is cool. I've got some mystery relationships there in terms of the game. It strikes you for a moment that this kind of thinking about how your life affects your robots is second nature to you. Though others might find it peculiar, you've always been fascinated by how every little detail of your life, from the content of your dreams to the decor of your room, changes the input to the robots you create, boosts their empathy or autonomy or grace, or appeal to the military. Surely, there are other things going on around you as a result of your decisions. They don't immediately strike you in the same way. I see. So my room, every detail of my life, my room, my dreams, my thoughts affect my robot. It's pretty cool. Today your robot is foremost on your mind because you're about to build its body. You pick up your laptop and head for the Stanford machine shop. Oh, I have a laptop. Nice. I guess I do have a laptop. It's a really old Windows Vista laptop. But I guess in this world, I probably have a different one. It's 2019. It's next year. It is a beautiful spring day in Palo Alto, California, and your apartment is only a short walk from the machine shop. But the streets of Palo Alto are not designed for walking. You find yourself climbing around palm trees and balancing on narrow curves, as you do every day. You hear a loud roar overhead. Glancing up, you see it's a flying car, a Nimbus. Oh man, who would be flying a Nimbus? A little over $300,000 can buy you a car with wings that fold out so that it becomes a small sport plane. The red Nimbus looks sleek and sporty. It's the sort of car its owner takes religiously to the car wash. Though the commercials would have you believe you can fly anywhere you want in those cars, the FAA still requires them to take off and land from airports. Only here in wealthy Silicon Valley do you see them with any frequency. The last time you saw one, you couldn't quite believe the future had arrived so quickly. It took them a year to develop flying cars? Solid. But the second time you saw one, you thought, let's see. Yeah, if I ever make that much money, I'll use it to help the world instead of buying that car. Yeah, definitely. I'm not, I don't actually own a car at the moment. If I could have a flying car, that would be nice, but the novelty would fade. Why not use it to help people? You don't understand Silicon Valley sometimes. If you had $300,000, surely you could save many lives with that money. You promise yourself that you'll hang on to your ideas, even if you should become wealthy. That sounds like foreshadowing here. I tell you, Kevin Gold, PhD. I wonder what your PhD in. Probably PhD in games or literature. It's interesting. Okay. I love the graphic design of this game. It's very simple. No nonsense. The Stanford University Fabrication Shop smells like oil and burnt plastic. The room is dominated by a large metal hand-cranked milling machine and lathes, dinosaurs of the 20th century. While the most used machines are the smaller 3D printers and computer-controlled water jet cutters that take a quarter of the space, the lights have the sterile fluorescence of an operating room, with only a single tiny window near the ceiling to inform you that it is day. So it sounds like something out of Homestuck with lathes and milling machines. It sounds cool. I like the aesthetic of the space. You start up a national public radio broadcast on your laptop. You haven't seen your advisor much since you joined the lab, so you choose the episode in which he's the interviewee. My guest today is Dr. Harvey Ziegler, says a woman with a soothing voice. Dr. Ziegler, thank you for talking with us today. While a scientist does have some responsibility to inform the unwashed masses, Terry, you let the podcast run as you walk over to the 3D printers. What material have you decided to use for your robot? Let's see. Plastic. metal, or wood? Well, okay. I played Detroit Become Human, and the robots there appeared to be composite, plastic, and metal, and they look pretty impressive. They definitely look like PlayStation 4 graphics, but they were some good robots. Uh, I'm gonna be dumb and make a wooden robot. That sounds brilliant. It is the most pleasing to the hand and eye. Yep, definitely. I'm all about wood. Though wood is an unconventional choice for a robot, wooden automata go back to the ancient Greeks at Alexandria. In Japan, they were called karakuri ningyo. Just an aside, karakuri are a type of Yu-Gi-Oh card, and they all have different numbers, which are their names pronounced in Japanese. So, for example, 404 will be Yon Re Yon, just as an example. And I played a card that let you guess a card from the opponent's hand and discard them. I asked my friend to give me the number of the karakuri, and I gave them the Japanese pronunciation, and they had to discard it. It was a good time. While the other machines in this room can create things that are beautiful in their own way, your favourite machine is the 3D printer that extrudes a wooden filament mixed with plastic. A mixture called laywood plus grace. Ooh, laywood, so it's wood mixed with plastic. That sounds good. Dr. Ziegler, in your new book you talk about the singularity. Could you describe for our listeners what that is? I've never listened to National Public Radio. Actually, tell a lie, I have. I listened to it when Andrew WK was on it. He's one of my favourite musicians of all time. I've never listened to it before. I'm guessing they all have wonderful American accents that sound beautiful, which is definitely not what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best. Terry, the singularity is the coming time when artificial intelligences will have figured out how to make themselves and us smarter. Once that happens, the process will build on itself until the robots are smart enough to figure out how we can live forever. Is that possible? The interviewer asks. Living forever? Of course, Professor Ziegler says. Why does it matter whether our operating systems are made of meat or silicon? So you're predicting we'll become robots. Ooh, foreshadowing. Not exactly, Ziegler says, but I do think the line between humans and robots will blur. You're hardly listening to the podcast because you're about to make your first robot part. What does the head of the robot look like? Okay, let's see. So this is interesting. Although it's made of wood, let me think. I'm the kind of person who thinks it's kind of cool to have like robots that look like people that aren't robots. They have minds of their own. So I really like Detroit Become Human. It's made of wood, so that's kind of weird. So human face is lifelike. So I'll go down that route because the other ones sound pretty weird. I mean, a ring of cameras around the head sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. A felt-covered bug-eyed puppet sounds pretty nice. But no, I'll go for a human face, like as I can make it. As the 3D printer creates the robot's face, you think it's turning out well. You've successfully left the uncanny valley that makes humanoid robots seem eerie, and instead have achieved a beautiful serenity. Yes, that is how it's done. A beautiful serenity. Gives it plus empathy as well. Plus empathy. I can't do that voice. I'm sorry. My favourite episode of Futurama is the one where Fry downloads Lucy Liu onto a robot, and she says, "I'll never forget you, Philip J. Fry," and then her memory's erased, and she's like, "Oh, memory deleted." That is so funny. It gets me every time. I crack up. Let's see. Dr. Ziegler, what makes you think the singularity will happen now? Well, for one thing, I'm around, but seriously, my lab is taking a unique approach because we're saying, why not teach a robot like a child? We're going to equip the robot with the best sensors money can buy and teach it English. Then, it can rapidly teach itself using the internet. The internet? Wow. It's going to be like Ultron where it hates the world because of the internet. I haven't actually watched that movie. I read the comic Age of Ultron, and that was all. Well, that's annoying. You're Oh, sorry, I got distracted by a text. I won't do that. It's from my brother. It's important. Well, that's annoying. Your advisor thought that a robot child was a stupid idea until you told him that Turing proposed it in 1950, minus the internet part. But he isn't giving credit to either of you. You keep working regardless. How will your robot get around? Oh, it will walk upright, but will also have delicate wings it can use for balance. Ooh. Ooh. That sounds good. Like an angel. But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to give it 2 legs. When the 3D printer is done with the head, you start the program that produces the torso and queue up the upper and lower legs. You think being bipedal will help your robot get along with humans, though it will also make it easier for your robot to trip and fall. Plus empathy minus grace. That sounds hilarious. As someone who trips and falls all the time, I would like an empathetic trait in my robot, you know? You use the basic hand-cranked milling machines to drill holes in the head for screws, since 3D printers aren't the best for threaded holes. And who is going to raise this robotic child? The interviewer asks. Who does all the grunt work in a research laboratory? Professor Ziegler says. The graduate students, of course. You find yourself wanting to reply to the podcast. Oh, I like this bitterness. Perhaps you could learn something from doing a little grunt work yourself, Professor Ziegler? I don't even know how to pronounce my professor's name. I've been in his lectures, I assume. Let's see. I doubt it, but I would join you if I had the time, says Professor Ziegler, who appears to have entered the machine shop behind you when you aren't looking. Wow! Heard it. Perhaps it surprises you, but I do miss building robots myself instead of chasing after funding. Professor Ziegler is a heavyset man wearing a Hawaiian shirt and aviator sunglasses. He sounds awesome already. A Hawaiian shirt and aviator sunglasses. What a cool dude. He stalks over to your computer. We'll be back in a moment, continues the interview. We're talking with Professor. Professor Ziegler pauses the podcast by hitting your laptop spacebar, and you flint at this intrusion. That's not cool, man. You don't go up to someone's computer and turn it off. He then pulls a cigar from his pocket and lights it, and the smell of smoke mingles with the oily smell of the machine shop. Are you supposed to smoke in a robot shop? I don't think so. I don't think so, mate. I'm writing a grant for DARPA, and I need to see what you're making back here. We ultimately get funded by the Department of Defense, so we have to make sure they're happy with our product. He casts a critical eye on the work you've done so far. This is a prototype, right? He says, you're going to build the final thing out of metal? Man, I'm not going to build it out of metal. I'm definitely the kind of person to say something like this. I'm this guy. My robot is supposed to be a thing of beauty, not a tool of destruction. I'm definitely the kind of person who would say that if I worked on robots. Professor Ziegler gives you a scornful look. When a National Endowment for the Arts adds 3 more zeros to the size of my grants, maybe then we can concern ourselves with things of beauty. But I have a lab to run. No wooden robots. Oh man, he doesn't want my wooden robot. I'm gonna sell. I mean, it's a wooden plastic hybrid. Why not? Let's see. I don't want DARPA to buy it. Fuck DARPA. Sorry, DARPA. No, I don't know about weapons. I mean, if the DARPA chief managed to get himself kidnapped in Metal Gear Solid, I'm not going to want funding from him. Although he got killed in Metal Gear Solid, I can't remember. What about the National Science Foundation? Couldn't they fund us? NSF grants are a killing field, Ziegler grouses. The amounts of money are tiny compared to defense research, and you have to be the best of the best to get any funding at all. A quick sip of tea. Oh, that's delicious, Sencha. I haven't really had much tea today because I was helping my younger brother paint his house with my much younger brother, and we're having a great time painting a house and painting his living room. Or I think we were painting the bedroom actually. It was good fun. It was really tiring. I had to come home and just have 2 hour sleep when I got in. You privately wonder if that's just Professor Ziegler's perception. You decide to try to apply to an NSF grant if you can find the time. Is that not safe for work grant? No, that'd be an NSFW grant. Professor Ziegler turns to examining the robot's head, which is currently sitting on the table next to the 3D printer. That seems alright, Ziegler says. Looks like it could be sufficiently intimidating. And what are you planning to do for arms and hands, Professor Ziegler says. Oh, it'll have a gun for an arm like Mega Man. That sounds cool. Oh, I'm noticing a spot where I didn't shave. I had to shave before streaming today because I had this hobo beard and it just wasn't going anywhere. I look good with a beard if I've shaped it, but I wanted to put some effort in for my stream today for the 3 wonderful people that are watching. Thank you. Let's see, soft hand with a good sense of touch. That sounds good because it would help it understand and empathize with the world around it. And that sounds like the most normal one. I was thinking, why just 2 arms? We'll have lots of arms spring out of its back, like Inspector Gadget or Dr. Octopus. I remember as a kid I watched the Inspector Gadget movie after loving the cartoon, and I was severely disappointed by it. Oh, never. Touchy-feely robots are not quite as easy to sell to DARPA, Ziegler says with a frown. I want my robot to get along with people, you say. That's a universally useful goal, regardless of who's funding it. Plus empathy plus grace. Ah, yes. Passionate man of science. Fine, Ziegler says, waving away further explanation. Carry on then. He turns to leave. I've got to take a call from a New York Times reporter. Funny how journalists all copy each other's stories, but each garble the message in a unique way. Man, this guy's a dick. I like the way he wore a Hawaiian shirt and had sunglasses, but he's actually a prick. Oops. He makes it to the door, then turns and says, "Oh, one more thing. Do you think your robot can be ready by tomorrow? Someone from the Air Force will be in town, and I told her your robot might be ready to show off by then." Oh. I guess he has to do that. He's just doing his job. You feel your phone vibrating in your pocket. Bad timing. Resist the urge to check it while talking to your advisor. There's probably someone with a better offer for what to do tonight. So the robot would be done, but a demo would be out of the question. We need to test it first. That is the general thing you see in sci-fi stories. Of course. I'm not going to say of course. No, there's no way this robot will be done by tomorrow. Sorry. I'm guessing... I'm going to go for this. It sounds like a good narrative book. Professor Ziegler grudgingly nods. I can see the logic of that. Maybe we'll just send her a demo video. Then it only has to work once. Professor Ziegler turns and walks out the machine shop. You find yourself unclenching your hands. Who was calling you while Professor Ziegler was talking to you? Was it Ellie Lau, a user interface designer and supportive friend? Eiji Aomame, a manga artist and generally good guy. Mate, I'm going for the manga artist. Heck yeah. Love it. From the missed call, your phone is displaying Eiji's profile photo. It's a picture of Josh and Eiji from the freshman welcoming dance 7 years ago. Eiji is wearing a white tuxedo with a red bow tie and making a V sign at the camera. Josh is wearing his usual grey hoodie, not having bothered to dress up for the dance, and his hand and his arm is around Eiji. Let's see, I was in love with Josh's friend Eiji, but nah, he's just a buddy. I was in love with Josh, but I never knew how to be more than a friend to him. Nah, I don't even know Josh. He's wearing grey hoodie. Nah. I mean, Eiji does put some effort into his appearance, but let's see. I had agreed to be Josh's wing person at a dance. That's where he met Eiji. Yes! I love that. I love that idea. So, he met Eiji because I was Josh's wingman and I set him up with him. I love that. Let's go for that. That sounds great. Yes. You and Josh did everything together. You made a great team. When AG started talking to you, you thought at first, from his sense of style, that he was Josh's type, and you introduced them. It turned out they had no chemistry. You all enjoyed each other's company, and the three of you became friends throughout college. You don't see them all that often now, but they're still your friends. You notice that AG also left you a text. AG wants to meet for dinner at a jazz and sushi place in San Francisco, which is an hour north of you. He also has tickets to a rendition of the musical Pippin, in which most of the characters are robots. So a robot musical. Jazz and sushi. That sounds awesome. Sounds like a date. That's a little terrifying. See, I think AG would have been perfect for Josh. Sounds great to see you then. Afraid I can't tonight, sorry. Busy tonight, but do you want to come by tomorrow to see the robot? Yeah, I think that this does sound really cool. I know, AG, but I gotta build my robot. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry, bro. This one's just harsh and flaky. You don't just not reply. Okay, sure, is the response. This probably isn't AG's preferred way to see you, but you really want to work on your robot tonight. You spend the rest of the day drilling holes, polishing surfaces, cutting parts, and screwing things together. I like building Gunpla, so this sounds really cool. Gunpla, Gundam plastic model kits. I should hope we all know that. But if you don't, it's fine, don't worry. Ah, that was pretentious for me, I'm sorry. When you're done, your robot's body stands before you. A wooden bipedal robot with a human-like head and humanoid hands. The whole thing is about 3 feet tall. Now it only needs a name. What will you call your robot? Pickle, Curry, Miku. Oh, Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku. I'm going to call it Miku. Why the heck not? You name your robot after Hatsune Miku? Yes. A Japanese artificial character celebrity. Domino's once released an app in Japan in which a virtual Miku would dance on your pizza box. If that isn't worthy of a homage, you don't know what is. Did Domino's do that? Wow. That's interesting. Like, so there's been a few really odd Hatsune Miku promotions. I used to love ordering from Domino's in Japan. I remember the first time I did it, I got a tiny pizza, and like, I didn't hang out with my friend who was a few houses down, and he saw me get the pizza, and I felt ashamed. I don't know why. Had it been a bigger pizza, I think I would have been fine with that. But I was obsessed with getting Domino's in Japan. Good times. I would always tip the pizza person with a green tea, but you don't tip with money in Japan. I'd get a green tea from the vending machine when I ordered my pizza, keep it in the fridge, and I'd give it to them and I'd say thanks for the pizza. And they loved it generally. It is fine, it is not a human. I will refer to her as feminine. I will refer to him as masculine. I would prefer to use entirely new pronouns for robots. Re, r, and rim. That sounds brilliant, I'll do that. Heck yeah. Why not give robots different pronouns? Robonouns. You equally dislike the objectification of implied by it, and the genderedness implied by he and she. Robots are their own things, you reason. Robot he, robot she, re. You decide to balance the other pronouns between the genders. R for the possessive, rim for the objective. It may be difficult to get anyone else to use the words. As long as your robots use them amongst themselves, you'll be happy. Plus autonomy. You look on Miku's 3 foot tall bipedal body with satisfaction. Now all Re needs... I'm going to have to get used to this, it's brilliant. Use the correct pronoun for Re. Now all Re needs are motors and a mind. The motors will have to wait for tomorrow, but you've spent years in graduate school writing code that will form the robot's mind. You can hardly wait to try it out. You head back to your apartment, where you spend several hours working on the final touches to Miku's natural language processing code. What language do you program? Oh god, I don't know. I don't know what these are. I don't do coding. C++. Speed of thought is all. So okay. Greetings from Bulgaria, Rob. Amy says, yes, Amy, this is awesome. You're having a good time in Bulgaria? That is the mark of a great moderator, to come from Bulgaria and still enter the chat. Thank you, Amy. How are you doing? Good time? Does it permit? and I've always wanted to go to Bulgaria. It seems like a really nice place. I've heard, although I'm not drinking now, but the 70p beer sounds very good. Let's see. What language should I use? So if I use C++, it would be faster. Python has the best tools for understanding words. I know that RenP is coded in Python for visual novels, so it's good. Amy says, it's lovely, thank you. How are you? I'm great. I was helping Jonathan, my younger brother, for those who don't know on the stream, paint his house, because he's moved into a new house, and we built, well, an apartment, and we were painting the walls. I was painting it with my much younger brother Barnaby as well, and we had a really good time. We did an Instagram of the bros painting the house, which was nice. It was good. I think I'm on my summer holidays now, and I spend most of the time indoors, so it's really nice to get a change of pace where I'm still indoors, but I'm painting. And Amy says it does permit. I've seen there's lots of excellent Pokemon in Bulgaria in your Pokemon Go updates on WhatsApp, so it sounds great. I'm going to go for Python because that's used for visual novels. So Amy, I'm playing this robot game where it's a story about making robots. I've made a robot out of wood called Miku, and I've given them gender pronouns. So Re is for a robot, Rer is for possessive, and Rim is for objective. So we'll see how that works. And my lecturer at university wants me to make this robot into a military robot, but I don't want to make it into a military robot. So let's go with Python, best tool for understanding words. The existence of Python's natural language toolkit made Python the clear choice for your robots. The right word can change the course of history. Your robot should understand the importance of using the right one. With fewer parentheses and more recognizable words than other languages, your code itself looks a little like poetry, plus empathy. I love that. That makes me want to learn how to code in Python. It sounds like poetry. I could probably learn coding. I've definitely got enough free time. It does sound cool. I mean, I've never really coded anything before, but man, that sounds awesome. They're really opening it up to me. With the code done, you then briefly add just enough motors to allow Miku to explore your room. It's a quick job. You'll do a more thorough one tomorrow. Your smartphone won't have much power for the motors right now anyway. Finally, you upload the code to your smartphone and plug it into Miku's back. You touch the icon labeled Miku and a big red button fills the screen. Your finger hovers over the button. You probably want the first word Miku learns to be significant somehow. What is the first thing Miku will see when you power Rim on? Rim on, that doesn't sound right. Rim on. I will start Miku in front of a mirror. I'll start looking at me. Okay, so this is like the God Complex option. I'll start Miku looking at me. I don't have a God Complex. Although, I think I did yell, I am a god, when playing Slime Rancher the other day. So maybe I've got a bit of a God Complex. Who knows? I'll start Miku looking out the window and I'll just start naming things. If I did that now, it'd be like tree. Magic the Gathering booster packs. I've got a lot of those. I've got a lot of those, actually. Look at this. Man, I so want to open these packs. There are loads of magic packs for Battlebound, the two-headed giant, the two-player tag team magic set. I really want to open these. I've got enough for 2 teams to play, and when I do open these, I'm going to keep all of the cards and put them in my collection, which is known as a cube, which is a community set of cards for people to play with. I chuck them all over there because I'd love to open them so badly, but my social life has been stopping that. I will start Miku in front of a mirror. I'll start in front of a window naming things. Why not? Why the heck not? You place Miku at the window looking outside, then hit the big red button. You begin pointing to things. Tree. Car. Person. Flower. Grass. I can't do the Miku voice. Wait. What? I've got an idea. I have a hilarious idea. Let's do text to speech. Actually, I don't think text to speech would be loud enough, so I would just do robot voice. Tree, car, person, flower, grass, Miku says. Ri speaks in a monotone like a classic robot. A sequence of automated notes like human speech but more musical. Oh, okay. Auto-tuned notes. That sounds like Animal Crossing speech. That sounds awesome. So I could do an Animal Crossing voice for Miku. A nasal, excitable voice like a hyperactive mushroom. Nah, I'm doing that. I'm loving this game. It's weird. Miku speaks with each syllable on a different note of a major scale, rising or landing in thirds and fifths when asking a question, expressing doubt, or providing a contrast. The lilting result sounds pleasant and a little otherworldly. Otherworldly? Sorry, I can't read today. Plus grace. As you list off the things, Miku walks up to the window, pressing her human-like head against the glass. You can tell Ri is itching to explore the great, wide world, so full of things, and is a little frustrated by the glass separating Rim from it all. Plus autonomy. I'm going to start using robot pronouns in real life. I'm going to get confused. You then pick Miku up and put Rim down in the center of the room to allow Rim to explore at will. But at first, Ri simply seems overwhelmed by the possibilities. You decide to call the state confusion, curiosity, loneliness. We could get this to be quite deep. I'm going to say I don't want my robot to feel lonely or confused. I'm going to give her some curiosity. Curiosity, Miku repeats. Plus autonomy. Ri walks up to your closet and peeks inside. But it's something of a mess in it. Yeah, I can definitely believe that. I mean, yeah. Observe my world. And Ri quickly gets her bipedal moving parts caught in your clothing. You pick Miku up in your hands. Ri wriggles nervously. I got you, you say. You got me. Ri continues to wriggle. Stop. The robot becomes still in your hands. You decide to teach Rim that the word for this state is peace, trust, helplessness, weakness. Ooh. I'm going to say trust. No, is it though? No. Is it peace? Is it really trust because I've told them to do it and they've done it just because I've told them? But is it peace because of that? Don't want to say it's helplessness or weakness because that's, I don't know, weird, it's complicated. I'm just going to say peace. Peace, Miku repeats back. You've taught Rim to be unafraid and unaggressive in unfamiliar situations. Plus empathy, minus military. Good, I don't want military. Let's see her stat. Let's see her stats. Let's see. So far, bad relationship with the professor. Good with Eiji, and good with Josh. Military 0, empathy 12, grace 3. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Oh, there's the next page. Peace. By now it is near midnight, and you have another busy day ahead of improving Miku. You get ready for bed, leaving Miku plugged into the wall with your cell phone charger. Stay there, you tell him. Miku obediently stays very still. So still that while you are drifting off to sleep, you glance down at Miku just to make sure her code didn't crash. But Ri is still there, looking up at you adoringly, and you think Ri will probably remain like that all night. Aww, sweet, it's wholesome. It's a wholesome game so far. We're going into chapter 2 now. I'm really enjoying this. I love it. Okay, let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2, machine learning. I love the fact the robot's called Miku as well. It's hilarious. Oh, Kevin Gold, PhD, you've done it again. I've never played any of your games. The next day, you take Miku to the Stanford Hackerspace, which has more tools for electronics than a fabrication shop. Neither of the other students are around in the morning on a Sunday, but the long stainless steel workbenches are littered with their strange half-finished projects. A half-disassembled Furby, a potato gun, a circuit board connected to a house bar. Wow! Oh, that sounds cool. A circuit board connected to house plants. So it's like a plant computer. AG knows you will need a little time with the motors, so he is coming in later. Sorry Miku, but I'm going to have to power you down for a moment, you say. We're going to switch you to a new power source. You here? Miku asks. Yes, I'll be here, you say. Okay. Miku says, the hell is this voice? You fiddle with the smartphone lodged in Miku's back, exit the application that is Miku's mind, and power it down. John, raging smartphone, says, "Hey Robo, hey John, as I say, I'm respect the fact that my moderators have come all the way from Bulgaria to moderate. Thank you very much. How's the holiday going? You having a good time?" We've got some fine robot stories going on at the moment, and it's a good time here. So I've got quite a few viewers as well. Lovely. Please stick around, everyone. So let's see. What do I use for Miku's power source? Car battery, a motorcycle battery, a biodiesel engine, cell phone battery. I'm gonna go for. Honestly, this guy is a 24-year-old student. He's probably not made of money. I'm going to go for the cell phone batteries made in China because they're cheap and can be easily replaced. Good for dexterous. John says, "I will commit from the ends of the earth." It permits. It commits. Remind me to get you guys a Greg from Greg's when you come back. The finest Greg I can find. Let's go to the next part. So, cell phone battery isn't very heavy. Biodiesel does sound good, but it sounds like it'll be a bit heavy. Cell phone batteries are the obvious choice for your robot, providing long-lived power at just the right level for small motors. It looks like these are mostly made in China, so they're cheap as well. You can use several in the design so that the head and limbs are each powered by a separate battery. Grace. You'll need a lot of motors to be able to fuel. I'm feeling bad now. It sounds like these are cheap because of the labor, which is a shame, but I guess this is quite an ethical robot because it's not being used for military purposes, so snakes and roundabouts, I guess. You'll need a lot of motors to be able to power your full robot. In addition to the motors Ree needs when Ree walks, and the motors to power Ra humanoid's hands, Ree also needs motors for moving Ra head and eyes. But after speccing out the power available to you, you can still splurge by adding extra motors in one place. What will it be? So, I'm gonna, let's see, I think I'm gonna give it to the face for realistic facial expressions because we've managed to crawl out of the uncanny valley. Sounds good. You add the motors necessary to allow your robot to perform 6 universal facial expressions: happiness, sadness, surprise, anger, fear, and disgust. ++ empathy. You notice that the expression of disgust Miku makes seems somewhat hateful. Perhaps Ree would get along better with people if you removed her ability to express disdain. No. That sounds weird. Actually, it would be somewhat entertaining to create a robot that smiles when it experiences disgust. That ought to troll people. Yeah, definitely that one. That sounds hilarious. But that also sounds mean. It's done now. This is not going to help your robot get along with people, you understand. Except for the users of the ever iconoclastic 4chan, who years later will adopt your robot as a kind of unofficial mascot. Oh god. Oh no. I don't want that to happen. But this is another factor that will help your robot become iconoclastic. Minus empathy, ++ autonomy. No, what have I done? It's about lunchtime when AG enters the hackerspace wearing a red crew-cut shirt and shorts fit for the summery weather outside. He's carrying a shiny black bento box and an Arduino microcontroller, both of which he sets down on the countertop of half-finished project. "Hey Robert," he says, "I thought you might have forgotten about lunch, so I brought extra for you." He looks at Miku's frame with interest. Let's see. It sounds like it's his lunch, but I'll do the bento lunch. You brought lunch for me? Thank you, you shouldn't have. Of course. He brings over the bento box, which turns out to be full of sushi, and you help yourself. Eiji examines Miku's body. Wow, Eiji says, it's human, sort of. You nod profusely. Do you really think you can do it? Make a robot that is human? We're about to find out, you reply. You hold down the power on Miku's back and reboots to life again. Good morning, you tell Miku. Good morning, Miku says, imitating you. Cute, Eiji says. Miku walks towards Eiji. Eiji cautiously waits for Miku to approach. The robot does so and extends a delicate, human-like hand. I am Miku, Ri says. Eiji relaxes and offers his hand. Eiji, pleased to meet you, Miku. They shake. Estimated strength of Eiji's relationship with Miku, 50, says Miku. Oops, you say, I left some debug statements in. Oh man, that sounds like it would be very useful. Just to know what ground you're standing on with this robot. 50, huh? Eiji says. What's out of? Estimated strength of Eiji's relationship with Robert, 56. Eiji laughs nervously. I wonder how that's calculated, he murmurs. Sounds like he's a bit salty about that. Miku looks to you. I think we will be friends, master. That's all for now, you tell Miku. I'm impressed by how far you've become. You've become? Come, Eiji tells you. I didn't know your robots could speak. These are mostly stock phrases are programmed in, you say. I need to train Rim to speak real soon. You should show Josh, Eiji says. He'll be so excited. You shrug. Maybe I will, you say. Then an idea strikes Eiji. Hey, are you interested in coming along with me to a volunteering event? What's it about? You ask. It's about teaching science to elementary school kids. He points at Miku. You could show them Miku. That would be perfect. Now would be a good time to show Miku to Josh to see whether he's interested in funding for further development. That doesn't sound like much escapism, considering I was working in a school for a year, and it was a bit stressful. So let's see. Probably get a new phone in case Mom wants a phone tonight. I should fix the little things I noticed. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix the robot. You noticed throughout the test that some things were off in the way Miku moved. The distribution of weight wasn't quite what your simulations predicted. The longer Miku has ill-fitting parts, the longer Ri will be used to moving around with them, and the harder it will be for you to change her body. Sorry, I've got to fix things before Miku gets too used to this body, you tell Eiji. Eiji shrugs. Oh, okay, no problem. He heads out the door. Spend the rest of the day fiddling with CAD files, printing replacement parts and seeing how Miku moves around. By the time you're done, you've yet again stayed up very late. But when Miku walks, there's now a precision in her stops and starts. When Ri raises her, this is getting really confusing, humanoid hands, Ri does it with style. Your attention to the perfection of form has paid off. And you go to sleep happily. Plus grace. I'm getting really into this game. It's getting late though. I'll stream for a bit longer. Okay. Where am I? You soon realise that. Let's have a quick. Oh, it's gone into. It tastes like an iced tea now, but it's gone cold. That's the good thing about Sencha, actually. Normally, when you have tea and it goes cold, it's not very good. I think it's even the same with. Matcha's okay when it's cold, but really high quality Sencha tastes great. I love green tea. You soon realise that while you're busy, Miku could be learning from the internet. The most important thing for machine learning is more data. But this is what the professor suggested. I'm not really so hot on it. And there's a lot of it out there. Lately, there have been a lot of custom hard drives on the market that are good at quickly retrieving particular kinds of information. What sort of hard drive did you order for Miku's long-term memory? So media enhanced, good for recalling faces and memories. A multi-blade hard drive that can efficiently store a giant amount of data, and encrypted and tamper-proof hard. I don't really care about that because it's like It's a university project, so surely it would be for the benefit of everyone to be able to learn from it. I'd go for media enhanced, so it could recall faces and memories of events. Maybe it could then record videos and upload them to the internet. That sounds like a cool feature if I built a robot. You think being able to quickly recall faces and events should help Miku out socially. Plus empathy. You also like the fact that you can use Miku as a home media server in a pinch. Yeah, I did think of that. Though, if you ever did this too much, Miku would probably start acting funny as Ree ran out of hard drive space. Ooh. Good thing you've got better things to do. You lay Miku on your kitchen table, unbox the hard drive, and hook it up to Rabat. Ree squirms and flails her humanoid hands as you do this. Whoa, it's like, ah! That doesn't sound good. Now it's time for Miku to learn about the great wide world. You sit Miku down on one of your kitchen chairs and plug him into your apartment's high-speed internet jack. How will Miku rapidly learn a lot about the world? We will trawl the internet randomly. That sounds like a good idea if I want to create the next Ultron. We will watch a lot of television programming and movies from the internet. Fast forward. Oh, it's going to be anime. We will quickly play all paths of a giant corpus of interactive fiction game. That sounds like it could get meta and talk about this game. I'm going to say television programming. Why not? You've downloaded a lot of torrents in preparation for this, and now you let Miku take the driver's seat for your laptop. As she re-explores, I'm imagining this really tiny robot using a laptop, and it's really cute. And re-explores all of them in extreme fast forward. The robot watches an episode of I Love Lucy for 5 minutes, then moves on to Gilligan's Island. Little buddy, you've done it again! Ree repeats at the screen, mimicking the skipper's voice. Oh, I love to call people little buddy. I didn't realise someone in Gilligan's Island does that. Click. Now Ree's watching Casablanca. Ree sticks around all the way to the plane scene at the end. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Ree says with a glance in your direction. Was Miku talking to you just then? Oh, I've never seen Casablanca. Is it good? I love Citizen Kane. I've been meaning to watch some more old movies. Click. Right now, Ree's watching Short Circuit, an 80s movie about a robot that comes to life. Ree watches this movie for about five times. Oh, flipping heck. Favorite movie. Miku is alive, Miku says. Ree looks at you. No disassemble. No disassemble, Miku. Oh. Ree then takes an interest in the Three Stooges, then the Terminator movies, then the less well-known Schwarzenegger movie, Kindergarten Cop. Oh, nice. It takes a long time to learn taste in movies, you suppose. Oh! Nice. You take a break. You can't follow the images nearly as fast as Miku can. When you come back hours later, Ree seems to be just rewatching the baffling time travel movie Primer over and over again to declare the experiment over. So Primer is something that I can't watch it. I love weird movies, but I don't know. See, I love movies that are weird in a narratively interesting way. I think Primer is just like, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's trying way too hard to be smart, I think. I shouldn't say that because I like an intelligent movie, but I think it kind of alienates the people that are watching it. Maybe it's just me saying that because I can understand it. I know the person who made Primer made another movie where people had the ability to, I can't remember, I think share emotions with each other, and I just didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, give me a film like Being John Malkovich and I'll love it, because although it's weird and a bit out there, it's got a narratively interesting point and it's got character development. I think Primer didn't really care about its character development, and it's more caring about having a puzzle in it and having weird stuff, which is cool to see that outside of video games, but I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again and try and understand it, but it is, as someone who loves fiction about time travel, it's not my favourite. It's not one of Robert's favourites. Hey there, Miku. TV time is over. You can only manage to temporarily distract Miku until you finally end up turning the TV off. Help! Help! I'm being repressed! Oh, great Monty Python reference. That's awesome. Miku says, flailing rare humanoid hands. You're thrilled, it worked! Miku appears to have successfully used a sentence re-seen in a movie. In this case, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Brilliant movie, I love it. Where'd she go? Bring her back, Miku says. Can you say anything that's not a direct movie quote, you ask? Like a boss, says Miku. Yes! I love it. You resign yourself to Miku being as full of catchphrases as a middle schooler for a little while. But it's that shared culture and all those shibboleths of the cool or the geeky. Shibboleths are like encoded phrases. I learned that from the book. I learned it from this book actually. The word I didn't really know. I learned the word from this brilliant book, The 10 Types of Humans, which doesn't actually categorize 10 specific types of humans, but it's 10 really good stories about people that are really moving and really interesting, and some of them are quite sad. It's a great book. I bought it because it said on the back, it said no limits somewhere on the back. It said, what are our limits? Do we have limits? That's the only reason I bought the book. But it's good. It's good. I'm just chucking stuff on my bed. I've got magic packs and books, and this sweet notebook. Look at this vaporwave color. I love it. I got it from Paper Chase. I went there for the first time in my life the other day, and I loved it. It's my kind of shop, Paper Chase. Okay. See, I've only seen this word written. I've never heard it. Shibboleths of the cool or the geeky, depending on who you ask. That will help Miku get along with people. Plus empathy. Geeky and cool are synonymous, mate. As you go to sleep that night, you find Miku shaking you awake. Yes, Miku? In Short Circuit, number 5's maker did not believe number 5 was alive until number 5 laughed, Miku says. I am worried that you do not believe I am alive. What should I do to convince you that I am alive? Oh, this is deep. This is getting heavy. It must have taken Miku a long time to formulate this question, piecing it together from snippets of the language he knows. Consider your answer. So I'm guessing, like, from what I can tell, this is the most, well, it's kind of something you learn from teaching. Like, it is really hard to answer some questions you get. It's probably one of the most difficult parts of parenting, answering questions, and this is really well simulated here in the game. I'm really impressed by this game so far. It's got quite a bit of emotional depth to it. I don't need convincing. I already know you're alive. Sure, if you started to laugh at jokes, I'd think you are alive. Life is a poorly defined category. It doesn't mean anything. Whoa, that's very nihilist. Ever heard of the Turing test? You've got to sit down on a computer and convince somebody in a chat conversation you're real. You can't. Your intelligence has always been an illusion, just a mimicry of the actions of others, which you do not truly understand. Ah, that's it. A lot of people do believe that about people. Let's see. Sure, if you start to laugh, I think you're like... I'm going to let her do the Turing test. It sounds like it could be narratively interesting. Okay. Okay. You think that settles it, so you nod off to sleep. The clacking of a keyboard drifts into your dreams. In the small hours of the morning, Miku again shakes you awake. Master, I have proof. I have a transcript on the screen of a chat with CatLover23, in which she expressed surprise that I am a robot. Oh, I love it. That's hilarious. Achievement unlocked. Chatty. I got an achievement. It has achievements in this game. Brilliant. You drag yourself to the monitor. Yep, CatLover23 looks totally surprised. Gratifying, really. But you also find this somewhat unsatisfying. Well done, Miku, you say, patting Rim on the head. Well done. You go back to bed, but Miku goes back to the laptop, having discovered a new love for chatting with random strangers, plus empathy. You establish the habit of bringing Miku with you to your office during the day, so that Ree can make use of Stanford's high-speed internet connection while you write and grade papers. You then usually go to some public space after work so that Miku can play around in the real world. Where do you take Miku? Wow, I can imagine that the internet at Stanford would be so fast. That sounds cool. I see park, playground, shooting range, or the dump to help look for some spare parts. That sounds quite cannibalistic to take the robot to dump to look for spare parts. It reminds me of a brilliant scene in Detroit Become Human, which is like really messed up. I don't want to spoil it, but play that game if you like robots. It's cool. Okay, let's continue. I'll go to the dump, not the shooting range. Oh no, plus military. You originally decided to go to the dump to procure some spare parts for Miku, but Miku seems perfectly happy to treat the various broken things. Laying, sorry, I got distracted there. Lying around as toys. First time Ree tries to turn on the faucet of the discarded sink, you get the idea. You modify Miku's code to encourage Rim to play pretend. You play house and doctor and cops and robbers, and end up perhaps having too good at a time for the dump, plus empathy. You think Miku is also getting better at finding things in the rubble, which might prove useful one day, plus military. Uh-oh, don't want any military. Let's see the stats. 86% humanity. Oh, my humanity's going down. Wow, it's weird. Or is that the robot's humanity? I don't know. Oh, I'm 25 years old now, so the year has gone up. Interesting. So time has jumped. It's got a good relationship with the professor, so things have skipped forward. Okay, return to game. I love this game. It's the best £5 I've ever spent on a game. Although getting over it was also £5, and I love that. So I don't know. Let's see. You finished your grant proposal for the National Science Foundation, promising a robot that will be able to understand human emotion better than any robot that has come before. A few weeks later, you find that you've been funded. The NSF sees your work as genuinely novel and groundbreaking. Some of the reviews also mention Professor Ziegler's previously successful work, which is odd because you hardly talked to him during the process. Professor Ziegler is CC'd on their congratulatory email, and he replies with his own congratulatory email from the office down the hall. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Achievement unlocked, Scholar. I won a fellowship. Yes! Yes, I'm loving it. Let's see. A quick sip of tea. I'm tempted to get another cup of tea, but I'm going to keep going, I think. For another half an hour or so. Keep it short today. Because I'm exhausted after painting and decorating my brother's house. Let's see. Near the end of the semester, you notice a message on your office phone. You're not really sure how long the light has been blinking. You don't really think about landlines anymore. You find the department. Sorry, 1 minute. You find the department webpage that describes how to check your voicemail. Reset the PIN that you apparently chose when you first started graduate school. And listen. Sorry about that. Hey Robert, this is Mark over at sfchronicle.com. I've heard that you have an interesting robot that you've been taking to the dump, and I'd love to do a story about it. Give me a call back. He lists a number and the message ends. You glance over at Miku, who's sitting at the desk of your hypothetical all but dissertation office mate, whom you have never seen. Nice. Miku is looking at the landline phone with interest. Whoe's service says that SF Chronicle is registered to San Francisco Chronicle, says Miku. The San Francisco Chronicle is a newspaper that started its website in 1994. 24th in national circulation. Ree looks at you with interest. Mark is a reporter. So I'm going to say Ree has a more realistic voice at this point, because a year has passed. Shouldn't you be studying, you ask? Pointing to the Ethernet cable running out of your back. Oh, sorry, I'm exhausted. Bayesian reasoning over publication rates suggests the reporter's full name is Mark Alley. Miku says with her eyes closed. Mark's article with most social media likes is How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love DARPA. Oh no. Oh no. Article explains that DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Ree hesitates for a moment. Aforementioned article appears to contradict title. Reporter does not seem to have stopped worrying. Oh, good. Oh, I see, it's a satire. Adjectives that bind to nouns describing DARPA and its projects: crazy, Orwellian, imperialistic. Overall sentiment analysis is negative. Thank you, Miku, you say. You look the guy up on your phone. Picture you find of a stubbly young Egyptian man with tousled black hair, hipster glasses, and a cigarette between his lips. It's probably outdated. The disrespect for authority the man radiates is probably timeless. Yeah, sounds cool. You admit, a part of you has always wanted to be famous, but you suspect this reporter has also done his homework about your advisor, and he may already have an intended angle for this story. Still, nobody on the planet has a robot as amazing as yours. Isn't it time you told the world about him? You play the message back again a few times, mulling it over. All this mention of DARPA is really making me want to replay the first Metal Gear Solid game. I remember completing it, and I love that game. I play in Japanese, so I love the Japanese voice acting. It's perfect. I call Mark back and set up an interview. Yeah, I'll do that. Although, I'll let Miku decide, I think. Miku mulls this over. Plus autonomy. Will it help me to make new friends? I think so, you say. Miku nods. Let's do it, Master. I want to meet the world. You call Mark back and tell him Miku has agreed to an interview. There's a pause on the other end of the line. Thanks, but I'd rather interview you first. You detect a note of irony in his voice. I can bring the photographer to your lab later, and we can interview the robot as a sidebar. You convey Mark's message to Miku. 2 new friends, Miku says. Please invite them over, Master, and offer to make them breakfast. Oh, it sounds lovely. 2 new friends for Miku. Let's see, where are we at the moment? See, I don't like the fact in my recorded videos I leave the room to get a tea break. I mean, I can make it work, but I'm not really too fond of it. It feels a bit lazy, and I think my viewers deserve a bit better. Let's go to chapter 3, the camera eye. A few days later, you're sitting in a dive bar in San Francisco's Mission District with Mark, a somewhat scruffy young reporter in a leather jacket. Mark has Mediterranean features, wavy black hair, and an ample beard stubble. He takes a deep pull on one of those artificial cigarettes that delivers all the nicotine with none of the illegal smoke, then opens a cheap Chromebook that looks about 10 years old and starts typing furiously. The place smells of smoke that never quite came out of the retro, unupholstered furniture. It's the afternoon, so the place is mostly empty, except for some dedicated drunks and you two. Thanks for coming, Mark says. Even as he's typing something different about the even as he's typing something different about the atmosphere of the bar. You'd be surprised how many people insist on answering just via email. But that's just bullshit reporting. It's like trying to sell the public a car you've only seen in a picture. To find the truth, you've got to kick the tires. You've got to look them in the eye. He looks you in the eye. Right now, I can basically tell you're a nice guy, he says, going back to typing. Gotta do some typing. You try to do right by people. Haven't had to stick anybody in the guts to get what you want. He hesitates. That's a compliment. Thanks, you say awkwardly. The bartender, a tattooed and thoroughly pierced young woman with the build of a roller derby player, approaches Mark. PBR, Mark says lightly, as if it's just a reminder. The bartender then looks to you expectantly. I'm not drinking alcohol at the moment, so I would probably go for, if I were drinking alcohol again, I'd go for Guinness for strength. It's PBR, that's Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's like that bit in Blue Velvet. Pabst Blue Ribbon! Like, what's his name? The bad guy in that. He's like, what's your favourite beer? Heineken. Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon! I love that film. Um, champagne of beers. That sounds nice. I'm just going for water. I usually get hot water and put green tea in it these days when I'm at the pub, and I love it. You have just as much fun as at the pub as everyone else not drinking, and I love it. That's what I'm all about. Nothing wrong with drinking though. As I say, if I were drinking alcohol, I'd definitely go for the Guinness because Guinness is a fantastic drink. The bartender gives Mark an accusatory frown. Just let us sit here, Mark says. You know I'll have 2 drinks. Of PBR, the bartender mutters. But she goes to fetch Mark's beer. The bartender leaves to fill your order. What's your initial impression of Mark? So, man, I would gladly... there's nothing wrong with getting water in the bar. Maybe it's frowned upon in America. I would maybe get a water and tip in America, because that sounds like something you should do. Maybe it's rude to not order something though. It's interesting. So I don't like this guy, and I think I'll get along with him. Seems like an interesting guy. I think we get along together. Kind of mysterious, kind of cute. I'm wondering if it's against his personal ethics to go on a date with me. It's not really my my kettle of fish there. So I'm gonna say seems like an interesting guy. Seems cool. Seems like he'll make a bro. Let's see. As you make this decision, Mark glances at you and types another brief note to himself. He seems very good at reading people. So I've heard your robot is kind of like a robotic 4-year-old, and it loves to ask questions and explore, and it's kind of bumbling in what may be an endearing way. Mark gives you a skeptical look to tell you what he thinks of this. I guess I ought to show you my robot sometime, you say. Yeah. The bartender comes back with your water and Mark's Pabst Blue Ribbon. You sip your water, feeling a little out of place. I saw they did a keg of Pabst Blue Ribbon in Tesco, and it immediately made my mind jump to Blue Velvet. If you haven't seen Blue Velvet, it's a bit of a fucked up movie. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I'd recommend it. I was ripping into Primer for being a bit pretentious, and admittedly, Blue Ribbon does have its pretensions, but it's a really good movie. It's got the acting is so bizarre. I think it's kind of good because it's so weird and deliberate that it has to be done on purpose. And the performances from Dennis Hopper as the bad guy, Pabst Blue Ribbon, he's just a psychopath, and it is brilliant. It's such a good film. It's not the most wholesome movie, but it's good. In fact, it did make me tear up at one point. There's a really sweet moment in it. Or, not many. It's hidden in all the darkness. But it's good. It's about duality, dark and light. It's interesting. So I've heard the robot is kind of... Yeah, I've heard that. The bartender comes back with your water and Mark's Pabst Blue Ribbon. You sip your water, feeling a little out of place. So let's get to the most interesting of the rumors, Mark says. Does this robot have human level intelligence? The way Mark studies your expression suggests that your answer will say as much about you as it will about Miku. Let's see. Oh, I love this. Intelligent is a concept designed by elites to denigrate the lower classes. Miku is what Ri is. I like that answer. Mark raises his eyebrows at this. Oh, I can raise my eyebrows. I didn't think I could. I can't do it in a disdainful way. I'm not good at showing disdain. Mark raises his eyebrows at this. Interesting, he says. I've been doing this tech beat for a while, and you're the first AI person to say anything like that. He seems impressed. It's true, you say. Read Stephen Jay Gould's Mismeasure of Man. The early proponents of IQ were totally racist. It's really interesting as a sociologist. I think that IQ is something that's very cultural, and it has a heavy cultural bias towards certain things. And I don't think IQ or intelligence can really tell how smart a person is, because it is definitely elitist, and it's what the people that make the IQ tests think makes someone intelligent. And I think intelligence is much more than just like how many facts you know or how logical your thought is, because I think emotional intelligence plays a part in that, and I don't think that is in IQ tests. I've never done an IQ test before myself, but I don't know if it's changed a bit now on this, but there's always going to be a cultural bias. in there, and you need a whole panel of people working on it. It's interesting. Oh, I miss sociology. I used to teach it in a secondary school, and it was great. But anyway, that's I got a bit overexcited talking about sociology now. I might read this book. It sounds good. And as an AI person, I can tell you there's no such thing as intelligence. Raw computational speed exists, sure. But what we call intelligence is actually a diverse set of skills that's coded in Miku completely differently, most of which require special knowledge rather than pure speed of thought. I agree. Mark nods at this appreciatively. I can see that. A lot of writers might appreciate that sentiment, seeing how everyone's falling over computer scientists as geniuses these days. It's really interesting though when you look at people like Elon Musk. I'm not really a great fan of him. I respect his work, but I don't really like him very much as a person. But he's definitely one of these people that seems like I don't know. He seems to be have a very clear idea of what intelligence is, and I don't know. I've never met the guy, so I'm not sure how he is. Maybe I'm just having a wrong judgment of him, but there's this duality of people that believe in like rational thought or emotional thought as separate things, and I don't know why we should separate them. I think even thoughts that people think are rational have a degree of emotion in them, and emotional thoughts definitely have our experiences. Our experiences teach us how to decode emotional situations, and we could do that logically sometimes as well. I think it's very complicated. I don't know enough about it. I need to do a bit more reading on the subject, obviously. But hey, it's something we could go into. I'm loving this today. This game is awesome. Thank you, Kevin Gold, PhD. You own. You shake your head. I got very passionate there. You shake your head. It's just a learned skill. Mark nods again as he records your comments. Let's talk about your advisor then. Professor Ziegler is famous for his pronouncements that in the near future we'll have robots smarter than humans. What role did he play in creating this robot of yours? He had nothing to do with it at all besides providing the funding. It was really interesting actually when I did film studies at secondary school. It was a great opportunity. A lot of people look down on film studies as not being a proper subject, but I think it taught me a lot about essay writing and a lot about basic reasoning skills. So he had nothing to do with it at all besides the funding. It's interesting because in film studies, you look at the executive producer as doing quite a bit for carrying the film and advertising it and providing the funding, but really the executive producer doesn't do anything. But some people argue the executive producer is the most important thing. I mean, if Back to the Future didn't have so it's directed by Robert Zemeckis. I'm looking at a future of Back to the Future. I think it was produced by Spielberg. Yeah. If it wasn't produced by Spielberg, I don't know if it would have the power, the advertising power, and the pull to it that it did have. I mean, Robert Zemeckis is a fantastic director. He's done a really good job with Back to the Future. But if he was the executive producer, it'd be completely different. If he was the executive producer now, it would be pretty good. But hey, I'm rambling a bit. Let's see. What did he do? I do want to say that, but that's a bit rude because he did provide me the funding. I don't want to be unfair on the guy. He demanded that the robot appear more useful to the military without contributing significantly to its intelligence. Yeah, definitely. You say appear, Mark points out. You don't think the changes he suggested were useful? Oh, no, they tend to be very superficial, you say. He only intervened once. I was building a physical form. By that time, I'd already designed the algorithms for learning. He had nothing to do with anything essential in Miku's mind and personality. Interesting, Mark says, making note of Professor Ziegler's level of involvement. And why did he push you in the direction of military applications? It sounds like this is all going to fall apart terribly. I'm implicating him. His ego is going to have something to say about this. Let's see. This is really it's really cool to dissect a story like this, because I'm writing a story myself with lots of characters and lots of paths to the story, and I think this is going to really help. Interesting. I've read that part. I think it was just to secure funding, you say. He didn't seem to care whether we delivered something that would actually see use on the battlefield or not. He just wanted to make sure we could sell it. So who is currently funding this work? Mark says. I'm being funded by the National Science Foundation. So it's very difficult to get such grants, but they allow more flexibility in what you research. Mark doesn't appear to be very interested in this, but he dutifully writes NSF in his notes. Anyway, he didn't write NSFW, not safe for work, because my robot is very wholesome, very safe for work. Mark asks a few more questions about Miku, getting a sense of what Ree's good at and not so good at. He appreciates the effort you're you've put into trying to make Miku get along with people, while clearly expressing doubt that Ree would really understand humans. Last question, Mark says. Will you allow us to send a photographer to take pictures of your robot? Absolutely. In fact, you're welcome to come along and interview Miku. Yeah, let's go with that. Although, let's go for that. Really? Mark asks, surprised. I know a lot of roboticists wouldn't allow such a thing because their robots only work in very controlled environments, you explain. That's why I want you to meet Miku. Ree's different. Mark nods. I guess Ree is. We'll be in touch. I like that he's using the robot pronoun now, even though he just picked up on it. I think that tells you something about his character, which is really interesting. Let's go to the next part. Sorry, I was distracted by Facebook. I did it in a very clandestine way. A few days later, Mark comes to your apartment with a photographer, a young blonde woman with a slight southern drawl. She asks Miku to sit on your workbench, then asks you to look as if you're busy fixing something on Miku's person. Miku and you both comply. Smile, she says. Miku does, and so do you. Once the photos are taken, Mark tries his hand at interviewing Miku. He looks cautious and slightly guilty, as if the journalism police were going to pop out from your closet and take away his license. He places his Chromebook on your workbench and interviews Miku, who examines the tools in your toolbox, occasionally fumbling and dropping a tool with a loud clatter. Miku, Mark coughs uncomfortably. What's it like being a robot? People seem frightened of me, Miku says after some thought. Why do you suppose that is? I think it is irrational, Miku says, lifting its humanoid hands in a shrug. I think it's irrational. Mark appears to be a little sorry for Miku as he records this response. What kind of things make you happy? Moving, movies, finding ways to make humans happy, the presence of Master. Miku cocks her head to the side. There is a significant gap between those and the next most highly ranked answers, but I could go on. That's alright. Mark continues his questions. You get the feeling that overall, Mark is going to write a positive piece about Miku. His questions tend to be friendly, as if he were interviewing a celebrity. You feel reasonably comfortable allowing Miku to finish the interview, and the photographer takes several more pictures of Mark talking to Miku. By the end of the interview, Miku seems to be enjoying rare interaction with Mark. Plus empathy. I can definitely feel that part where I haven't shaved. It's only 3 hairs or so, but I always feel like I've messed up. I went into university lecture with this bit here, and I felt like everyone was looking at me, even though no one was. It was, it's not fun. You spend the next 2 weeks researching the news feeds for your name and wondering every day when Mark's interview is going to come out. You've awoken on Friday, March 13th, 2020 by a klaxon. A script you wrote on your laptop has detected Mark's article on the internet. You blearily sit up in bed and stop your laptop's alarm. It's about 5 in the morning. Miku walks into your bedroom to see what's the matter. But you assure him that everything's fine, so Ree goes back to watching old sitcoms in your living room. I hope Rhea's watching Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. The article is one of the lead stories in the technology section of the San Francisco Chronicle's website. Exploring the world through a robot child's eyes is the headline. The article tells the story of how you managed to create Miku with hardly any help from Professor Ziegler, and how you have a close, almost parental bond with Miku. The article emphasizes Miku's general likability, as evidenced by several cute quotes Mark collected over the course of the interview. With selective use of quotes from your interview, the article portrays you as an essentially good person, albeit one driven by a goal you other people would completely understand. The article concludes with a quote from AG. Robert is just a dreamer, he said, albeit one who is very good at making his dreams come true. Plus fame. Yeah, a famous manga artist said that about me. Booyah! Let's just see. I don't know how you save at this game. Oh, let's see. No, I'm not sure. How does it save? I'll just keep going to chapter 3 and see what happens. Oh. This is the achievements. Return to the game. Mark wrote a positive article. It's an achievement, celebrity. I will... So this sounds like the dating Mark option. I don't really want to date Mark. Share the article with friends and family via social media. Show Miku the article. I know I do that one in real life, but let's show it to Miku. Miku! Miku walks back into your room, and you show him the article. It's about me, Miku says, cocking her head to one side. Yes, Miku keeps reading. But I already knew all of this. I suppose you would, you say. Uninterested in her newfound fame, Miku goes back to watching old sitcoms in your living room. You briefly check the internet for more posts about the article. You find that the story has been picked up within the first hour by a multitude of bloggers, all striving to be first to comment on the article. You'd guess that there are at least 40 different bloggers who have already written a second-hand piece about you and Miku, and they run the gamut from people hoping that your technology will save humanity to people who bitterly condemn you for creating technology that can be used for war. Oddly, not one of those bloggers has tried to get in touch with you. AG is calling in a video chat on your phone. You pick up. Hey, he says. It looks like he's at work. He's wearing a blue button-down shirt with a red bow tie and red suspenders, and in the background you can see blueprints and sketches of robots drawn in Japanese manga style. You didn't realize he worked for a robot company. Congratulations on the article. You must be really proud. Let's see. Did you talk to Mark? Yeah, I talked about Mark. I told him you're a genius, he says with a grin. You are, aren't you? Thanks, I'm pretty proud. I'll talk to you later. I'm being cold here. Okay, until then, enjoy all the attention. The screen goes dark. I've never really been good at taking compliments. I'm gonna practice in a game. It's good. I'm getting a bit better now. Just say thank you for the compliment, you know? That's what you should do. You're getting... Okay, until then, enjoy all the attention. The screen goes dark. You're getting a phone call. According to the caller ID, it's Mom. As your finger hesitates over the answer button, the second caller appears on your screen. Number in Glendale, California. Probably a reporter. Now I'll take the call from Mum. Your phone shows Mum in her office cubicle, which is decorated with baby pictures of you and cute cat memes from the early days of the internet that she has printed out. Mum is wearing a corduroy lime green jacket with 80s style padded shoulders. Her image freezes consistently. You think she hasn't paid for enough bandwidth for this to work well. Just thought I'd offer my congratulations. I saw the article. My little guy is famous. The Glendale number is calling again. I'll quickly end the call and talk to Greendale. I've got another call, Mum. I'll call you back. Alright, love you, sweetie. You answer your other call and find it's an invitation for Miku to appear on the Late Show. Sure, why not? That sounds like fun. You agree that Miku will come to the studio tomorrow. Fame and fortune. Here we come. Your next phone call is from Josh. He must be using a new video phone because his image is crisp and popping with colour. Well, insofar as a dark warehouse and his grey hoodie can pop with colour. Hey Robert, Josh says, I just saw the article. Congratulations. It looks like you're finally getting the attention you deserve. Thanks. Do you want to celebrate in the city tomorrow night? There's a really good Led Zeppelin cover band playing. Oh, Zed Zeppelin? Oh, heck yeah, I want to see some Zed Zeppelin. Okay, he hangs up. You realise that you haven't checked your email at all today. Checking it for the first time, you find it's flooded with requests for interviews. But one email in particular catches your attention because of the author's unusual email address. Robot Obsession, 1987, subject amazing. I read the article, you sound like a genius. Would you be interested in getting coffee sometime? I've been interested in robots for as long as I've lived, and I would love to meet you, Miku. Sincerely, Tammy. Oh, that's flying. What do you do? Oh, it's a date. Heck yeah! I think I probably should bring Miku. You write back a friendly reply, arranging to meet tomorrow morning. You wouldn't mind meeting someone who thinks you're a genius, and Miku could stand to meet more people too. Tammy's reply comes back almost instantly, agreeing to meeting and peppering you with questions about yourself and Miku. Not having time to answer all these questions, she promised to have more time to talk tomorrow. I'm usually on the other end of this, so it's nice to be on the other end, albeit virtually. You check the time on your phone. You should probably get something to eat before your meeting with Professor Ziegler. Miku, I have to go meet Professor Ziegler. Stay here. Why my voicemail? I have to go meet Professor Ziegler. You stay here. Miku is watching Love Actually as you pass through your living room. Don't do it! Be on the lookout for love, master. Miku calls after you. It can happen when you least expect it. You make your way across campus to the computer science building, a newly constructed tower of glass amidst the stucco and shingle mission architecture of the rest of the school. I tell you what, I'm gonna hope that this saves itself. Let's see if Control and S does anything. Show stats. Don't know if that saves. Menu. Return to the game. Email me when new games become available. Email us support. I'm gonna exit the game and hope that it saves. Let's check. Let us check together if it is saved. I hope it saved. Oh, yes, it saves. Alright, it saves automatically. Basically, everyone, play Choice of Robots. It is great. You can choose all kinds of different choices. This person's written loads of games. They've written a superhero game. They've written, I think, a horror game. It's written loads of stuff, and I love it. It's making me really hyped about doing some writing, actually. I could probably stand to go to sleep, but hey, I'd love to write. I want to fill this beautiful vaporwave book with some words, and I want to listen to some vaporwave and have a great time. Thanks, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream as much as I've enjoyed reading it. I know it's something different. It's more akin to the Spider-Man streams that I've been doing, and some bit of a multiple choice game, but I'm enjoying it, and I want to get a bit more experimental with the stream. I would love to actually read a book on stream. I really want to read Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I want to do a stream where I play music I like and talk about it, maybe put some poems over it. There are lots of things I'm trying out, and although I'm enjoying the stream, I know there's always work I could do with it. I can always improve it. But yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed. This frog is frowning, but not at you. It's just frowning generally because it's glad I've had some people to watch. So thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. And keep on making robot choices, I guess.